Hey everyone, welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Ashley Mova, and this is the daily show where we give you all of the latest news from the world of movies, plus a little bit of insight into what it all means. Joining us as always is AMC Movie News Editor-in-Chief, John Campea.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, coming to you live from right here at the Stream.TV studios here in Hollywood, California, and we are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
Also here, AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Amy Rose Eisenbach.
Hey guys, lovely to be back. I'm still a little bit on cloud nine from my amazing interview with Sam Rockwell and Lynn Shelton yesterday from Laggies. Amazing people, and it comes out October 24th, so check out the interview on AMC Independent then.
Yeah, also here, writer-director John Schnepp.
Yeah, Moon is still one of my all-time favorite sci-fi. So he's such a great actor. Yeah, Sam Rockwell.
Well, in case Ben Affleck's extensive Batman collection and $50,000 Batcave entrance on his home wasn't enough for the new Dark Knight, Affleck claims he recently asked executives at Warner Brothers if he could buy his Batman costume to take home after shooting when the film was done. They told him, sure, for $100,000. Affleck replied, well, maybe I'll just take a picture. John, would you have bought the Batsuit for $100K?
Yes, yes. I would totally. Even though I don't have the money, I'll mortgage whatever I have to do to buy that Batsuit. Because here's the thing: here's the gamble. If Batman vs Superman is good and a good movie and people like it, can you imagine how much the Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man armor from Avengers is worth today? Can you imagine that? If people like Batman vs Superman and it's good, hell, if it's crap, it's still going to be worth $100,000. You can sell that thing on eBay for $120,000 next week. If this movie's good, that suit's worth like $500,000. Somebody will pay you $500,000 for that suit. Right. If it's the suit that Ben Affleck wore in Batman vs Superman 5 years from now, and it's a movie people liked and loved, somebody will easily pay $500,000. Look, I know, Ben, here's the thing. I know Jennifer Garner was all up on you and saying, look, don't you go spending our money on some just stupid Batman stuff. You've already spent $50,000 to build a Batcave entrance to our house. Enough is enough. But you got to explain to her, honey, this is an investment. This is going to make us money. Don't see it as spending money. This is making money. So yeah, I would have totally bought it. What have you done, Schnepp?
Well, it depends. How many Batsuits did they make for the shoot? You know how they always have like a row of Batsuits? Like, here's the battle damage one, here's the crispy one.
Sure, yeah.
So they might have 3 crispy ones, and if that's the one he was talking about, they're like $100,000. He might have been like, hang on, and once we enter into renegotiations for, say, Batman 2, that will be mine for free, I'm sure. They're like, I think, it's a game. They're going to give him one. It's just camping, just give it to him right away out of the bat,
I like what you did there.
Nice pun, nice pun. Well done, sir.
You're Batman. $100,000 is chump change to you, Ben Affleck. Yes, you buy it, but I do agree. Once that film makes a lot of money, and they start the directorial conversation, because we know he's going to hopefully direct the next standalone or something else coming up, then I think he'll have more bargaining power. But it's still a gamble right now. They're hoping that people are going to really get behind him and love what he has to say. But beyond all that, you're Batman. Buy the Batsuit. Come on.
He already has a Batcave in his house before he was Batman. That's kind of the awesome part.
Yeah. And the combined incomes of both of those very well-known actors, and what's $100,000 to them?
They both have, actually, this will be interesting because Garner and Affleck, but don't they both have movies opening this week?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Alexander and the No Good, Horrible, Rotten Day opens next week. Gone Girl's next week.
Oh, yeah,
Alexander's next week. That's right. Still, they're going to be going head-to-head, so that's
Gone Girl.
All right, what's next?
As many of you know, Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters 2 is currently in development with the script now ready to go. However, the film has had a setback as writer-director Tommy Wirkola has announced he won't be returning to direct the sequel, even though he's completed the script. Amy Rose, do you think Wirkola's departure will cause problems for the project?
I could care less about this project. Good for you to bow out of this one, my man. I'm sure some people still enjoyed it. I thought it was a god-awful mess, and it was no fault of the 2 leads because they're fantastic, and I love Renner, and I love Gemma. I think she's a doll and a good actress, but it was just not funny enough to be funny, not clever enough to be clever. It danced that line between, I feel like, not knowing what it was. So I personally didn't think it was that great. So good for him to step away. He must agree, but no, I think that there is enough demand for this. Obviously, I might be in the minority here, so I don't think it's going to derail it too much. I think that someone else will probably get on board fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I think
All right, so this is the guy who made Dead Snow, which
And,
if you haven't
and Dead
seen,
Snow 2, which is coming out.
right? So Dead Snow 2 is coming out, and he made that. He also made Hansel and Gretel. It was released PG-13, and I was like, I'm not seeing it because I knew there was an R-rated movie coming out, and I knew his cut was like cramped down.
Wait, was it released PG-13?
Yeah, there's
okay,
an unrated.
For instance, I had in my head that it was released
There's
rated
a
R.
crazy unrated. You know what? Check online. I might be wrong, but I heard there was an unrated version coming along because he was super pissed that they, took his and cut it down a lot of scenes. So I saw it on cable and I really liked it as like a crazy, weird, it's like not really paying attention, eating a donut, like checking my phone type of a movie. Oh, there's a witch, like it's that kind of a film. So if you go see it in the theater, you're eating popcorn, laughing with your friends or whatever, it's not like a serious film. But I think maybe he left due to the same type of thing where they're like, we can't have the witch eat the baby. He's like, I'm out! I think it's just one of those things.
I mean, I'm surprised, 'cause maybe it was PG-13. I'm looking around, I can't find it right now. No, it was rated R.
Okay.
MPA rated R for strong. Because I remember there was a lot of violence in that film, like especially when Edward, the big ogre, coming out and starts killing all those guys. That was pretty graphic.
It's even more graphic though, the one I saw. So
Right.
I don't know how much more graphic, but this one was like, whoa.
So
I'd be interested.
I'm actually one of these guys that I did not hate the first one. I thought it was kind of cute and was kind of clever.
Cute? Was it trying to be cute?
I actually found it to be a little bit cute, a little bit clever, and a little bit funny. And some of the action stuff was pretty good. Now, unfortunately, that was also balanced against a lot of stuff that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I didn't walk out of Witch Hunters going, "Hey, you should go see this movie." But
You
I
didn't
walked
hate
out,
it as much
I
as you
didn't. No, I didn't hate it. And the fact that it made like $200 million kind of made sense. That what can't you do? You have two really good stars in this.
Gemma's incredible.
She's amazing.
She is also, to get shallow for a second, she is also like really one of the most beautiful women in the world.
Gorgeous.
She's absolutely gorgeous. And she sold me as an action heroine in it. And we all know what Renner can do in an action franchise. Now, how much will this affect? I think this will have a bigger effect than people think, because let's not forget, this guy didn't just direct the first one, he also wrote and directed the first one, and he wrote the screenplay for this one. And it's always kind of cool when you get the guy who wrote the film to also direct it, because who else knows the script better than the guy who wrote it? So I think it'll have a little bit of an impact, but maybe it'll be positive, maybe it'll be negative, I don't know.
Right.
But ultimately, we'll just have to wait and see when the film comes out. All right. Folks, so now we've reached that part of the show for buy or sell. Here's how this works. In front of her ass, she's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down. And then those of us at the table are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So Ashley, what do we got?
It's just been announced that Key and Peele's Keegan-Michael Key and Think Like a Man star Regina Hall have joined the upcoming Vacation sequel/restart film with Ed Helms, Christina Applegate, Chris Hemsworth, and Charlie Day. Key and Hall's characters are said to be an ideal family that are friends with the Griswolds. Jeanette, buy or sell Key and Hall's addition to the cast of Vacation?
I buy it. It's a key decision.
Jeanette with the puns
You're on it today. You're on it.
No, he's so funny, and he's great. I think he's a great actor, not just a funny actor. But so his addition to a comedy feature film that just keeps getting more and more heavy loaded with great cast. This, I can't even speak. Sorry. It's a great decision. I think Key's a great guy. So.
Yes, I'm also on board. I like both of them. I think it's good. This ensemble is pretty impressive, and they have some mainstream, they have some other. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I like this cast, and I do think Ed Helms is going to prove to be able to lead this franchise, not just with the crux of The Hangover and all the other celebs behind it. I do think he's going to have something for this, and especially Chris Hemsworth. I cannot wait to see him in this role. So yeah, I like these additions.
I'm still skeptical about Ed Helms leading it. And skeptical, not against it, just skeptical. Key is a great addition to this. I remember I saw him do a guest spot on Parks and Recreation last year, where him and Ron had great exchanges. He was wonderful in that. Love him in all their stuff. I am actually a big fan of Hall. Like, even though she's been in these mid-card comedies and stuff like that, I actually really enjoy her when she's in them. I think she brings a lot to them. So it'll be interesting to see her bring that certain set of skills into a film like a Vacation restart. See, I'm calling it a restart now. It's not a reboot. It's not really a sequel. It's a restart. Yeah. And so I think she's going to bring a lot to it. So I buy this. I think these are good additions. All right, what's next?
The official synopsis for the upcoming Magic Mike sequel, Magic Mike XXL, has been released, and it reads as follows. Picking up the story 3 years after Mike bowed out of the stripper life at the top of his game, Magic Mike XXL finds the remaining kings of Tampa likewise ready to throw in the towel. But they want to do it their way, burning down the house in one last blowout performance in Myrtle Beach, and with the legendary headliner Magic Mike sharing the spotlight with them. On the road to their final show with whistle stops in Jacksonville and Savannah to renew old acquaintances and make new friends, Mike and the guys learn some new moves and shake off the past in some surprising ways. John Byers sell the sounds of Magic Mike XXL.
Well, before we do anything else, of course, everybody, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we look better doing it. Okay, so Kevin Nash is the man. Just let me say that. Kevin Nash is the man. I gotta say this too. When I finally watched Magic Mike, I think one of the only reasons I watched Magic Mike was because Kevin Nash was in it, and I'm an old school wrestling fan. I used to watch when I was a kid, and it was so funny watching all these other guys like Channing Tatum dance around, stuff like that. And whenever I went to Kevin Nash, I think his name in the movie was Tarzan.
Yes.
Whenever I went to Kevin Nash, everybody's dancing around, but Kevin Nash is just. Because that's like all he can do. That's all he's got, which is pretty funny. I like the sounds of this. Look, Magic Mike actually ended up being one of these movies that had more depth to it than you would have thought on the surface. Because on the surface, it was just Channing Tatum as a male stripper. Wah, wah.
Well,
it's going to be
film.
Yeah, but it's a Soderbergh film, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people going into it, including me, just kind of brush that aside. It's Channing Tatum as a male stripper. But it had depth and it has some dramatic elements. It's not that bad of a film, actually. I kind of enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it for different reasons than me, but I thought it was pretty good. I think this sounds like a really nice follow-up. This does sound like, if you're going to put out a synopsis for Magic Mike 2, this sounds like a good one, like a little bit of a road trip movie. You got a pretty eclectic group of characters in the male stripping world, coming back for one last hurrah. It's got a lot of elements in here that I kind of like the sounds of, so for me, it's a buy.
Yeah, it's also a buy. I think the synopsis is pretty ridiculous, but I do think that the first one was, it was a Soderbergh film, so it did have a lot more depth and darkness, kind of like he does with it. And I do think that Channing Tatum, first of all, he's an amazing dancer. That's real, beyond being half naked in the scenes. I'm not going to complain about that, but he is a really good dancer. And I am mostly intrigued with the cast they're getting on for this, because Elizabeth Banks signed on, Jada Pinkett Smith, and the most surprising and excited one for me is the Childish Gambino, one of my favorite, artists in that domain. So that is bizarre to me, and I love it. So yeah, I think this should be at least fun. And I know Soderbergh's not directing this, but someone that's pretty much been, apprenticed by him has stepping behind the lens for that. So that's always a good sign if someone hopefully learned from him a little bit.
And I think Soderbergh's still involved in the film.
Producer, right?
He's editing it, and he's the DP.
What?
I didn't know he was. Are you sure he's the DP?
He is the DP.
I did not know
I
that
did not
either.
know that.
That's what's so crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
He's I'm not directing it, but I'll be there for every moment of my assistant director's directing debut.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, he's there basically. He's kind of like, he's there.
Cool.
That adds an interesting element
I
to it.
have not
actually.
seen Magic Mike yet. I'm still waiting for Showgirls 2. So I don't
Yes.
know what's up with Magic Mike 2 happening first. Guys, anybody? So anyway, I guess I'll just have to see Magic Mike and then see Magic Mike 2.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The only thing I remember seeing Elizabeth Shannon in after
Berkeley.
Berkeley. Yeah, Elizabeth Shannon's another one of those. Elizabeth Berkeley in after Showgirls was, she had a small but surprisingly good little spot in Any Given Sunday. Remember?
I love that movie.
She was the prostitute with Al Pacino.
She likes to do that role.
Well, I mean, it worked. But anyway.
I love Showgirls, all right? Guilty pleasure.
Same here. It was a fun movie.
Yes.
All right, what's next?
It was revealed a while ago that the Weinstein Company opted not to finance director Kevin Smith's third Clerks movie. However, on a recent podcast, Smith has announced that he has found funding for the film and that they will be moving forward with it. Amy Rose Byers sell a Clerks 3.
Enthusiastic buy. I love Kevin Smith. First one was better than the second, but I do want to see where he goes with this trilogy. And After Tusk, which is definitely one of the most talked about films of the year, at least for me, I know that was like, you could just feel Smith all over that film. That was his baby, his passion project. And Clerks, that's pretty much one of the things that started it all for him. So I definitely want to see this trilogy be given the final installment. I'm in board. And I like that it's changing the game with how you finance a film these days. So.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is a big buy. I love Kevin Smith. I don't love all of his films, but I love him as a filmmaker. And I'm one of the rare guys, so I thought Clerks 2 was infinitely better than Clerks 1. The Clerks 2 is actually my top 10 all-time favorite comedies list because it had a level of depth to it that I think a lot of people don't recognize because it addressed a lot of issues. Like when I saw Clerks 2, I was in my mid-30s, right? And a lot of the issues that the guys were going through, like actually I think Dante was facing one of the issues I was at the time. Do I move and take a great job, but at the sacrifice of my friends and my roots and all that kind of stuff? And I was going through the exact same thing, and I thought they actually addressed those issues with a lot of heart, and that was surprising to me for something that was also so funny. But ever since, I've wanted to visit these guys again, because now I want to see if they're going to deal with issues that I'm also dealing with, and now at my current stage of life in my early 40s, right? So I'm looking forward to that. So for me, it's a buy.
Yeah, it's a buy for me too. He's actually a lot thinner than that photo now. He's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he has.
And it's like I see him every day because I'm editing this film that he's a part of. So it's like every day I'm like watching this guy. So it's like I can't to talk about Clerks 3. I'm very happy that they're finally making it because I know that they had announced it I think it was like 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, a long
Then
time.
they were about to shoot it. Most of the cast was like, yeah, we're shooting it in 2 months. Everyone was getting ready to go.
They finished the script.
Yeah, something happened where it was like, oh, well, you know, it's being delayed. So I'm really happy to hear that they're back on track. So I'm looking forward to it. Clerks 2, I loved Clerks 2 except for that whole donkey scene.
Oh, the donkey scene was
Yeah.
weird.
I was like, it kept
it.
bringing, and then it just kept going. I was like, all right, that's pre-Tusk effed up, like
Right?
Smith working some stuff out. Like, all right, I see what you're doing. So,
All right, folks, we reached that part of the show for Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address in the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, at the end of the show, we're going to save a couple minutes to take some of your live questions. So if you're watching us live, you can tweet in some questions to @AMC Movie News. But for now, let's get to the mailbags questions. So, Ashley, what do we got?
Mike Gullick writes, "Hey AMC crew, huge fan ever since early this year. I was wondering if you think with this age of spoilers and set leaks, do you think it is possible for a studio to make a comic book movie in secret and just surprise everyone with it? I doubt it, but I think there might be a slim chance. If so, I would love to see them do that with Black Panther. Shoot it in secret in Africa, then just say, who wants a Black Panther movie? Here you go."
Wouldn't that be awesome if like, on October 3rd, Kevin Feige just put out a 15-second commercial of just his face, and the Marvel logo behind him says, "Who wants a Black Panther movie on October 10th?"
I do,
We're like,
I do.
Here you go. And then like 1 week later, Black Panther to
That'd be
surprise
incredible.
everybody. That would be awesome, but it is absolutely impossible. A film can have like 1,000 people or more working on it. So that means keeping all those 1,000+ people completely like putting steel plates over their mouths and bolting it into their shin bones. Like it can't happen today. It's just absolutely impossible. Would it be the coolest thing in the world? Yes, but it is. It's not incredibly difficult. It's impossible. Can't happen. Anyway, Amy Rose.
It's impossible for a superhero film of this magnitude, yes. For an indie film, maybe a little easier. It's a closer-knit production. Everyone's there, pure love and passion, not just a paycheck. So it's a different beast, but yeah, for something like this, I mean, we saw, especially where they film it, I mean, in Detroit, Batman v Superman, we saw those photos, and like, they weren't good photos, but everyone's still like, because they want something. So something like this, but yeah, I love that idea of just like, oh, by the way, Black Panther's finally finished. Let's watch this.
Or Kevin, hey, did we say Avengers in 2015? We mean November 1st. In a couple weeks. I mean, everybody just
incredible.
lose their minds.
They should do that. That would just disrupt everything.
I would love
That
that.
would disrupt is
We're
the
just
right
dropping
word.
this movie next week. What? No trailer. It just opens. It'd be like
That would
incredible.
be such a cool experiment.
Yeah, you know, they were like in Africa shooting some stuff
Yeah.
for Avengers, and you know, vibranium guys. So that's, you know, who knows? Maybe they just shot a whole other movie.
You're shooting Black Panther, right? It's happening.
Yeah, totally already shot it, guys. It's
Cool.
in the can. But all the movie was shot green screen. I mean, they could do it, but you're right. It would be such a hurdle to, you know, set leaks and people taking pictures. Like, just look at Batman v Superman. It's like, you know, is that Alfred's trailer? And there's like is that, you know, Bruce Wayne's manor? You know, there's just anytime they shoot anywhere outside, there's people taking pictures, video, YouTube. It's kind of an inescapable thing now, unless it's like a top secret bunker and everybody lives there until the film's done. You know, I don't know.
That sounds cool too.
All right, what's next?
Daniel Yamasaki writes, "Hey AMC Movie Talk crew, I'm a huge fan. Love the show and appreciate all the hard work you all put into it. I was wondering, is there any movie that you loved when you first saw it, but then over time began to dislike it? Thanks and keep up the great work."
Ooh, well, I mean, no surprise for me. The one that really stands out to me is The Phantom Menace. It's just one of those movies that I grew, Star Wars is the most significant thing in my life, always has been since I was a child. And so when it was coming out, I was so excited and so whatever. To me, I liken it unto this, is me landing a date with a girl way outside my range. Like way outside my range. And I'm just so excited that this girl is actually agreed to go out with me. I mean, the 5%, chance of maybe rubbing body parts happens, and I'm just so sold on this, and I'm excited when we go out, we go have dinner, and we see a movie, and I just come back and I'm like, wow, I went out with this amazingly beautiful girl, I just can't believe it, and that was so great. But as the days pass, I realize, to come to think of it, she was really rude to our waitress. Like really, she was belittling our waitress and being rude to her. She kicked a puppy on the sidewalk as we were walking down the street afterwards. She ordered the most expensive thing on the menu and only had one bite. And then we went to go see the movie and she talked all the way through it. She didn't even thank me for the meal afterwards. And then she spilled her coffee in my car, didn't even offer to clean it up. Come to think of it, she was a real douchebag. And that's what The Phantom Menace was to me. It kicked the puppy, it ordered the most expensive thing on the menu, and it's once I got over that initial desire to love it so much that I had to stand back and go, no, that movie was a total douchebag. So that was, anyway, Phantom Menace is the one to me.
It was.
Yeah, you know what? I was really thinking really hard about it, and I don't really have those experiences. I can go back and say I saw Star Trek the motion picture when I was a little kid, and then I watch it now and I'm bored. Because it's just shots of Chekhov staring at a purple cloud for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like Star Trek the motion picture is there's a 30 to 40 minute stretch where you're hurting yourself to stay awake. Just find V'ger already, get to it. They're floating. But your opinions change as you get older. But I love it or I hate it. Or I'm in the middle. I'm like, it was okay. And then years later, I remember even those flash moments when I was a kid. I liked that Klingon part when the electricity killed all those guys. That's Star Trek the motion picture. I like that part. I like the parts in San Francisco. I'm just using that as a reference. But years later, I could watch them those parts still are cool. The parts I didn't like are still the parts I didn't like.
I have a lot more movies on my list that are movies that I did not like at first and then grew to like later. A lot fewer on the like them and now I don't. Anyway, do you have any of those movies?
I agree. I feel the other way where I watch something and be like, and then upon a second viewing it grows on me. I find that to be more true. But usually where I fall on the spectrum is kind of where I stay. It just goes a little more. But I was trying to think about a different spin on this question and how I watched some films when I was younger and I rewatch them now and they have all these other meanings that I didn't know about.
Yes.
So it becomes a different film to me. That's the closest association I can think of. Not that I necessarily loved or hated it, because you still have that nostalgia factor. So I'm like, wow, this movie's not that great, but I love it. So it's near to dear to my heart. Like Grease 2, for example. That movie is awful. It's awful, but I love it because I grew up on that and I can watch it now and I'm just like, wow. But yeah, I feel more like finding a film now and it becomes a different film to me.
Right, those shots
common.
of Chekhov are still the same
now. Yes.
Oh my God, when's he gonna blink?
He's not gonna blink.
All right, folks. Well, we said we'd leave some time for some of your live Twitter questions. We're gonna do just that. If you're watching us live, tweet in some questions to @AMC Movie News, and Ashley will decide which ones get asked and which ones do not. So Ashley, what have you chosen?
Malik writes, what's a movie that critics got wrong when it first came out and later were kicking themselves? Fight Club comes to my mind.
I don't think the critics hated Fight Club.
No.
I remember really good positive word of mouth when Fight Club first came out. Me personally, can you guys think of any?
I can think of several. I remember Blade Runner, when that first came out, all the critics hated it, and now it's considered a cult classic, one of the best science fiction films ever made. I mean, that's one of them.
Not by me, but yeah.
Except for Campino.
By most intelligent people in the world, yes.
The Thing is another one that got horrible reviews. It was just, all it is, it's about gore and latex. Now it's considered one of the iconic horror films of our time. So.
Some Jason Reitman films come to mind because, Up in the Air and Juno are regarded as his most critically acclaimed work. And, a lot of people didn't like Young Adult, and some people really liked it and thought it was really deep and emotional and that Charlize Theron was phenomenal in it. And I think that one was not slammed, but a lot of people didn't really get behind. And then I feel like more time went by, they're like, wow, I can see what he was trying to do there. Same with Labor Day, but that didn't really go in the other direction. I feel like that was still, exactly. But Young Adult comes to mind. I feel like upon sitting with that film a little bit, because it's not as whimsical as some of his other films, that people were a little kinder than initially.
All right, what's next?
Adam H. writes, what's your top big budget film with the worst special effects?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question. Man, I can't.
Oh, you know what? Men in Black, I think it was like, I didn't even watch the rest of Men in Black 3, but I remember watching Men in Black 3 and I thought the effects were horrible.
Which one? What happens?
Men in Black 3, there was, like I said, I didn't watch the
Is that
ending.
the one with Josh Brolin?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were sequences where I remember Will Smith on like some kind of a light cycle, like rotating circle thing, where they're whizzing around and there's no blowing, nothing. There's like you've been shot in a green screen room with no fan, and no one cared to like add like a flap of his coat's not moving and they were like flying around.
What makes me laugh about questions like these sometimes is that, and it's a great question, but sometimes I'll have people talk to me. It's like, I watched Star Wars and the effects aren't even all that great. You remember when Star Wars was shot. Like that, at the time, those effects were way beyond anything anybody had ever done. Every penny was in that thing. But it's a great question. I'd have to think about it and research it a little bit. Big budget films with the worst special effects is really good. Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
I can think of things, again, more cemented in the past where it's like, hey, they were still above their, like Neverending Story, one of my favorite of that.
Yeah.
And there's some scenes that are funny because they're just
Sure,
they're
but it
bad.
was state of
But
the art
again,
at the time.
of the time, they were amazing. So it would be more of a task to think about things more recent.
I remember the
about
Scorpion King was another one
Oh,
where the ending was like the
yeah.
Scorpion didn't even have its finished texture map. It was like one of those things, like if you're a nerd and you don't know what I'm talking about, it's like they didn't have time to finish rendering it, and anyone who was
Remember how bad The Rock's face looked on it and
Horrible.
everything? And even for the time, that was
that's what I'm
badly
saying.
done.
For the
Yeah.
time, you're like releasing some unfinished effects.
Yeah, that's a great one. All right, what's next?
Well, speaking of Neverending Story, Brian Norris writes, what's happening with the development of the Neverending Story reboot?
There was some word about it, I remember, floating around last year, but I think it's dead in the water, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I'm open to hearing more, but I've heard nothing about any progress on it whatsoever. But that's just me. Have you guys heard anything different?
Falcor will attack you if you make a reboot. Do not do that. I mean, as we were just talking about, the effects work for that film, so I don't want to see this. I haven't heard anything about it, and I'm happy about that.
I have a friend whose dog looks like Falcor, and whenever I see the dog, I go, the never-ending story, and then the dog like turns its head.
So good.
Yeah, the dog just kind of looks, and I imagine it flying. I'm petting it, like then that'd be awesome.
All right, what's next?
Terrence Page writes, what actor/actress under 30 has the talent to be the next Streep or De Niro? For me, it's Dane DeHaan and Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick is really funny because I realized she's really, really good. And I think, like with most other people, when Up in the Air came out and she got her Academy Award nomination, that you just realize she's just not just good, like she's ridiculously good and talented. And she's diverse. She can do a film like Up in the Air, and then she can be like a side character in a Scott Pilgrim vs. the World and fit in everything. Then she can do a lead musical movie, like she does, what's the name of the...
Pitch Perfect,
Pitch
baby.
Perfect, which she was actually really good in.
Yes.
I'm actually really shocked, because I was sitting in I can't remember which movie I was watching the other day, but a trailer for Into the Woods came up, and Anna Kendrick's in the trailer, right? And I remember thinking, how has this girl not hit A-level status yet? Because I think she's shown she's got talent, she's beautiful, she's made pretty good decisions. She's not been in a lot of, or almost any, why did you go in that movie? Like some really creative, diverse things. I'm a little bit flabbergasted how she's not in more. But any other names come to you guys?
Yeah, Dane DeHaan. Everything he touches, he's great. Ezra Miller from Perks of Being a Wallflower. We need to talk about Kevin. I think he is going to be the next generation of exactly what you're talking about. Everything he touches is so different from the next, and he completely commands the screen. I mean, he played this very eccentric, flamboyant character, and then a total terrifying character in the next one. And like everything he does is amazing to me. So he's definitely on my young stars to watch, and everything DeHaan touches is gold. Kendrick too.
Oscar Isaac is the guy.
Yeah.
He's
Is he under 30?
You know what? I think he is.
Is he?
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. I mean,
I love
maybe
him.
he just skews young. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
Yeah.
Going back to Perks for Being a Wallflower, a guy like, obviously, first of all, you got Emma
Logan
Watson.
Lerman.
But Emma Watson, obviously Emma Watson's got the goods.
She's already there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's pretty much almost already there, right? She will be somebody who 10 years from now, if there's not an Oscar on her mantle, there will be 3 or 4 nominations on her resume. I firmly believe that. But the name I was going to bring up is exactly this, Logan Lerman. I think this guy's got a load of talent, and he's in Fury, is he not? But he's too young right now to get a lot of the big meaty roles. Wait till this guy starts to get older, because he's only going to get better. And he's going to start to get into that age range where he can start to take on these other types of roles. I think he's going to be one of those Matt Damon, Brad Pitt names that is going to be with us for 2 decades. I really do. I think he's that good. All right, let's take time for one more.
All right, Eisenberg Lannister writes, do you think we will ever revisit Sin City?
Nope. No. I mean, look, what's always possible is a return via direct-to-home video or something like that. You know, a little $3-4 million Sin City 3 that goes to direct-to-home video. But they took such a bath. They took such a bath on this movie. There's no way a studio is actually going to finance a theatrical release film for it again. I just can't see it happening. Can you guys see any hope?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, I loved the middle section of the Sin City Dame to Kill For, which was just the Dame to Kill For. And the other 2 sections I really didn't like. They didn't fit in too well. It should have just been one movie. I know that Rodriguez, like he did with the first film, hopefully he'll release a 3-part, you know, like each of those segments extended. Well, I would love to own that, but I don't know. I mean, there was something off about this version of it that was different than the first one.
Yeah, I agree. Great name, Lannister. But yeah, I loved the first film. Amazing. This one, it was visually gorgeous. It raised the bar even more for that. But it was style over substance for me. It was disappointing, especially because I've been waiting forever for that film. So
9 years.
They took a hit, and I don't think we'll see another as well.
All right, and I think Oscar Isaac's actually 34.
Yeah.
So that'll do it for us, folks, for this edition of AMC Movie Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, lots of great films playing at AMC theaters right now. And opening this movie, we got Annabelle, The Good Life, Gone Girl. Right now, you can get your tickets. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for your theater, showtime, and your movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, look in the description of this video, and you'll find a link to our podcast feed. And don't forget to click the thumbs up button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want to thank the people sitting at the table with me. First of all, our senior editor of movie news, Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach. Amy Rose, where can people find you online?
On Twitter and Instagram at Amy Rosie. Thanks.
And don't forget, you can also catch her on our other YouTube channel, which is AMC Independent. Just go to youtube.com/AMC Independent for all of our AMC Indie Spotlight shows that Amy Rose is the host of.
Broaden your palette, guys.
And of course, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you?
At Twitter, Instagram, at John Schnepp, and at TDOSLWH. And I'm going to be living at the movie theaters in Burbank this weekend to see all 6 of these movies. I can't wait to see Annabelle.
Oh yeah, we're going to do a spoiler review of Gone Girl on Thursday night. I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, our lovely host today, Miss Ashley Mova. Ashley, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, at Ashley Mova. Happy Tuesday, guys.
And of course, you can find me on all the various social media networks, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. My name is John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until next time, bye-bye.
Hey everyone, if you like this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC Movie Talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.